Throughout the 2023-24 NBA season, we've seen plenty of all-star caliber players such as James Harden, Bradley Beal, and Damian Lillard be traded to different teams all across the league. And in today's video, we're going to be reverting at least one of those trades I just mentioned and also send every other 2024 all-star in the league to the previous team they were a part of, which of course means we're going to see guys like Kawhi Leonard head up north to Toronto, while Paul George is being transferred back to OKC, and of course placing Damian Lillard back in Portland. And just as a quick reminder of who made the all-star team this season, here they are being shown in all their glory. Now, of course, if we have guys such as Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, who both made all-star appearances this year, since they have both, only been a part of the Philadelphia 76ers, we're just going to leave those guys alone. They won't be traded or anything like that. And the same thing could be said for the Milwaukee Bucks, who have Giannis and Antetokounmpo, but I'm sure you've noticed by now, and since I mentioned it at least 3 times at this point, Damian Lillard is no longer here. So, that duo was very short-lived. But the Chicago Bulls, they didn't have anybody make the all-star teams, and here in Cleveland we have LeBron James, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. There is no Donovan Mitchell because, well, he had an all-star appearance and he played for Utah, but on the bright side, they do have LeBron James back on the roster. So I mean, that was a pretty even trade if I do say so myself. But anyway, the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were both all-stars this season, but they've only ever played in Boston, so I mean, like I said, they're just going to stay on the same team. But the same cannot be said for my Los Angeles Clippers, who have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and James Harden. The Charlotte Hornets, they don't have anybody, but Donovan Mitchell, like I said, is a part of the Utah Jazz once again. This is arguably a better team than the one that was constructed for him whenever he was a part of the roster, but a lot of Rudy Gobert fans would probably beg to differ since, his defensive presence is no longer here. The Sacramento Kings had Domantas Sabonis, who, well, honestly, he should have been an all-star this season, which would have meant that he was going to go back to Indiana, but he unfortunately was snubbed somehow, some way. I guess a lot of fan voters just, didn't pick him enough. OG Anunoby is the, he's the highest rated player on the New York Knicks because the 2 other top guys on the team we had to trade elsewhere. The Los Angeles Lakers, well, I guess, the same thing as we said for New York can be said for LA. Now, I believe Paulo Banchero was an all-star this season, but he's only been a part of Orlando, so he's not going to be going anywhere. But the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic now have Jalen Brunson back on the team. Now, this is kind of a weird trio, I guess, because not only do you have Luka Doncic at the point guard position, but now you also have Jalen Brunson. I guess some people would say, why don't you just switch him to the shooting guard position? Because, he's done that before, but I mean, at the same time, we also have Kyrie Irving, who oddly enough is wearing number 23 now. So, I mean, I don't really know. It doesn't really make sense to have all 3 of these guys starting at once, but I think more than likely Jalen Brunson will just come off the bench behind Luka. In our very next team, the Brooklyn Nets have Kevin Durant, Mikal Bridges, and Nicholas Claxton. And Indiana is here with Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. Now, I just kind of realized that I forgot to trade Tyrese back to Sacramento. So, you know what? Let me just show you the process that I went through to make this entire thing happen. I don't know how it slipped my mind that he, didn't play for Sacramento, but I mean, as you can see here, he was a part of the team. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to trade him in exchange for Kessler Edwards really quick. As you can see, now Indiana only has Pascal Siakam. But if we go back to the Sacramento Kings, now we have Tyrese Halliburton, Domantas Sabonis, and De'Aaron Fox. So, yeah, that was my bad on that one. But anyway, the New Orleans Pelicans have Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson, and Brandon Ingram. Also, I almost forgot to mention Julius Randle. This is more than likely going to be the championship favorites if I do say so myself. But anyways, the Detroit Pistons, you already know they don't have any all-stars, but they probably will next season. And here up north, we have Kawhi Leonard, Scotty Barnes, and RJ Barrett. Now, because I am like the biggest Kawhi super fan, I'm going to switch him to a small forward and RJ Barrett. He does play the shooting guard position, so I mean, we could send him down there. And the Houston Rockets, no all-stars for this team. Victor Wembanyama arguably should have been an all-star, but I mean, he's only played for the Spurs since he's a rookie. Bradley Beal didn't make the all-star team this season, and they also lost Kevin Durant. So if anything, this team just got a lot worse than, what they were normally used to. And in OKC, we have Paul George, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. I'm actually expecting this team to be really nice. I don't know what it is about Paul George-led teams, but sometimes in 2K, they perform really, really well. And of course, the thumbnail for this video, Damian Lillard is a part of the Portland Trailblazers yet again. It's almost like he never left. And the final all-star we're going to go over is Stephen Curry, who, as well, I mean, he came off the bench this year, surprisingly. And yeah, that should be all of it. Like I said, I almost made the mistake of sending Tyrese Halliburton or keeping him inside of Indiana, but I made sure we actually sent him back to the respective team he's supposed to be a part of. And you know what? I just went ahead and simulated to the trade deadline, and let's have a look and see how all the teams are doing. The Pacers, who only have Pascal Siakam, they're beginning to struggle a whole lot, but the New Orleans Pelicans with Anthony Davis, I would have expected them to be the first seed, but as you can see, it's actually the Portland Trailblazers. I mean, looking at the stats, Dame isn't really carrying the team any, but I guess they're just really that good. I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand how this team's the first seed. I mean, actually, after looking down the roster, I mean, they have a bunch of players that are near that 80 overall range. So, I mean, adding Damian Lillard back to this team with all the depth that they acquired for trading for him, I guess that kind of put them over the top in the West. But it also looks like the Dallas Mavericks are the 2 seed with Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and Kyrie Irving. That's not really that big of a surprise for me. And coming up as their 3rd seed, we have the Los Angeles Clippers, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. As a Clippers fan, I'm really happy to see that he's doing wonders for our team. James Harden also seems to be playing relatively the same as, you know, what he does in 2K simulation. Westbrook's numbers went up by a butt ton. His per 36 has him averaging nearly 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. If the Clippers gave him more minutes, he'd be back just like how he was a couple of years ago. But I almost forgot to check the East standings. It looks like we have the Sixers, Celtics, and Cavaliers. And I mean, of those 3 teams, the only one that's different are the Cavs with LeBron James, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen. And I mean, yeah, this is pretty nice to see. If LeBron James can bring another championship to Cleveland, is he the GOAT at this point? I don't know. You guys can let me know down in the comments. And oh yeah, I almost forget to mention this every single video, but while you're down there debating on whether or not LeBron's the greatest of all time, if you are enjoying this video so far, you should consider giving me a like since it does support the channel. And at the end of the regular season, I just kind of scanned through all the awards, and let me tell you, they're actually kind of insane. But anyways, our most valuable player goes to Nikola Jokic. Rookie of the year goes to Victor Wembanyama. And this is kind of when things get crazy, because 6th man of the year goes to Luka Doncic.
What?
This man has gone from MVP every single time I simulate, and now he's playing off the bench, so this must mean that they have Jalen Brunson starting over him. But anyway, Wembanyama also won DPOY, Miles McBride won Most Improved, Jason Tatum's Clutch Player of the Year, we don't really care about that. All NBA first team, we have Jokic, Giannis, Trae Young, Luka, Shai Gilgeous. And speaking of Shai, this dude played absolutely insane. And for our very first game of the postseason, we have the Boston Celtics facing off against the Toronto Raptors. Like I said, I am like the Kawhi Leonard's biggest fan, so I definitely have some bias towards the Raptors because, you know, I obviously want them to win, but the Boston Celtics, they're just better. They're definitely just better, so they're probably going to whoop Toronto's butt. But up next, we have the Miami Heat facing up against the Chicago Bulls, and I mean, this matchup is just meh. There's not really much to it. And now the Sacramento Kings facing off against the Denver Nuggets. This is a matchup to actually pay attention to because with De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton, and Domantas Sabonis, I actually like their chances of taking down the reigning champions. And up next, we have the Los Angeles Clippers facing off against the New Orleans Pelicans. And I'm really afraid of this Pelican squad as a Clippers fan. Now, unfortunately for the Atlanta Hawks, they have to face off against LeBron James's Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I'm sure that's not something that Trae Young could have imagined him hearing before he made it to the NBA, because how is he facing off against LeBron James in the year 2024 in the playoffs? That's kind of ludicrous if you think about it. But anyway, here we have the Philadelphia 76ers facing off against the Orlando Magic, and yet again, not really anything to pay attention to. But the same cannot be said for the Golden State Warriors facing off against the Portland Trailblazers. I absolutely adore the matchup of Stephen Curry versus Damian Lillard, so for us to have it yet again, I'm pretty happy to see it. But you know what, let me simulate to the second round. The Raptors have been eliminated. That's unfortunate. There goes the Clippers. Man, my favorite player and then my favorite team both get eliminated. Okay, you know what? The Cavaliers just got beat. Whoa. They got swept too. LeBron James, he played like LeBron James. Had a really good series, but I guess it just wasn't enough for Trae Young. If Trae Young really upsets everybody in this video, I might have to delete my channel. But you know what? It looks like the Sacramento Kings just got eliminated, and the Golden State Warriors have lost to the Portland Trailblazers. So, and oh wait, I forgot there's one more team. The Dallas Mavericks have been eliminated. Oh wait, there's another team. The Miami Heat also got eliminated. Holy crap, I cannot count. But yeah, I mentioned that these Paul George led teams can sometimes be unstoppable. I don't know what it is, or wow, Luka is insane. I can't believe they got this man coming off the bench. It might actually just be the fact that Thunder have like a really nice roster. So it doesn't really matter who's leading the team as long as, you know, if they're good enough to make the playoffs. They could, you know, make a deep run. But here in the second round of the playoffs, we have Denver versus Portland. I remember back in 2021 or 2022 when these two teams faced off, Damian Lillard put up a masterful performance. He had that man Austin Reeves on the verge of tears almost every other possession. But anyway, I'm pretty interested to see how this game is going to go. If we can get Damian Lillard to win a championship this year, I'm going to be so happy. But this game was so close. It went to overtime. And over on the East, we have Atlanta facing off against Boston, which, I mean, this Atlanta team somehow managed to upset LeBron James and that stacked Cleveland team that he had. I don't know how Trae Young did it, but if he could do it again against the Boston Celtics, that would be absolutely insane. In game number 1, it is looking pretty close, but Boston seems to be on the forefront of things, and as you can see, they do end up winning by 12 points. And now we have the New Orleans Pelicans playing against the OKC Thunder. But you know what, it was kind of close for a while. It's a 4-point game now, and OKC did end up scoring, but they still lost by 2 points. This matchup with Philadelphia and the Chicago Bulls is not really that interesting, so I'm just going to simulate through this game. And Chicago ended up winning by 8 points. DeMar DeRozan had 33, 4, and 6. Meanwhile, Kobe White put up 37 and 8. I really like Kobe White. He's definitely on the horizon for Chicago, and I definitely think a lot more people should pay more attention to him. But you know what? I'm going to simulate through the second round a little bit further, and if we have any game 7s, I'll be sure to hop in. And it looks like we have one with Philadelphia and Chicago, but also one with Portland and Denver. I'm really counting on Damian Lillard to pull up in the clutch because I want to see him make an NBA Finals. And there's 29 seconds left to go, and yeah, Portland will make it on to the third round of the playoffs. And all right, the most boring series in this entire video is going to 7 games. I'm sure absolutely nobody's interested in how this will go, but it looks like Philadelphia ended up winning by 9 points. Kelly Oubre led his team with 26. Embiid had a pretty nice night with 21 and 14 rebounds. But you know what, let me go on and see who we have in the conference finals. The East is looking, I mean, this could be the real life Eastern Conference Finals. The teams look the exact same as what they do in real life. But in the Western Conference, we have the Portland Trailblazers facing off against the New Orleans Pelicans. And I mean, both of these teams look very different than what they do in real life. I said near the beginning of this video that the Pelicans were more than likely the favorites in the West. But you know what? Let me go ahead and simulate through these games. It looks like New Orleans actually won game 1. And you know what? Let me progress a little bit further to see how things are going. In the East, it looks like Philadelphia is up 3-1 against Boston. And in the West, we have New Orleans up 3-1 against Portland. The Philadelphia 76ers also made the NBA Finals. So if Portland can manage to crawl back and win this series, that's the team that they'll be facing off against. But it looks like that's not going to happen. That's a little unfortunate. Zion Williamson is the Western Conference Finals MVP, and Joel Embiid is the Eastern Conference Finals MVP. And you know what? It all comes down to this. Is it going to go to New Orleans or is it going to go to Philly? I've seen this Pelicans team win plenty of championships on their own without the addition of Julius Randle and Anthony Davis. But you know what? Let's see it. Game number 1. Who is it going to go to? New Orleans or Philly? And it looks like the Pelicans, yeah, they came out and set their foot down. CJ McCollum put up 26. Brandon Ingram had a nice little 25, 5, and 4. I wonder if game 2 is going to look any different. So far, it's looking like it because Philadelphia has been leading the team, or not leading the team, been leading the game in scoring. And yeah, they ended the game with 145 points. And all right, in our very next matchup, I'm pretty sure the Pelicans have the home court advantage this time around, and they actually did pull out with a win. Let me just rapid fire to the next game since I accidentally skipped through to the end. It looks like we might have to jump into this one if it stays this close. Let's see, we have 1:44 left to go, and the Pelicans are up by 7 points. And did they pull away? It's looking like it. And in game number 5, the Pelicans are up 3-1, so they can actually pull away with an NBA championship right here. But the Philadelphia 76ers, I mean, man, they were just not having it. They don't want to go out that sad. Joel Embiid put up 45 points, 12 rebounds, and 3 assists. Tyrese Maxey had 27, 2, and 7. And just by looking at the numbers, it kind of seems like Anthony Davis, Julius Randle, and and a lot of other members on the Pelicans had an off night, but it is game number 6, and the Pelicans, they don't want this to go to 7, because if they do, there's a good chance they might end up losing their NBA championship, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. And yeah, it looks like that might have been like one of the easiest championships New Orleans could possibly win. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, with guys like Anthony Davis and Julius Randle being added to your team. And also, I forgot to mention, but the Pelicans are dearly adored by 2K for some reason. With all those factors in place, it was a beautiful recipe for an NBA championship. And for whatever reason, it looks like Herbert Jones won Finals MVP. How did he win Finals MVP? What? Did he put up like 60? Looking at the stat sheet, it doesn't look like Herb Jones deserved. That was an Andre Iguodala Finals MVP if I've ever seen one. And it's kind of a sad day for Philly because Joel Embiid put up 39 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists. And like I said, it just wasn't enough, and this championship just slipped away out of his fingers. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to go check out my latest upload where each team in the league had the chance of acquiring the highest rated player from the opposing team that they beat. That video was really hectic. It was really fun. I think if you made it all the way through this one, you'll really enjoy it. But anyway, shout out to you guys for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.